Okay, we got it all up. Hey there, everybody. Welcome to the show. My name is Josh.
I'm Kyle.
And we're the Geeks For Hire. This is our weekly podcast. So thank you first and foremost for tuning in, especially if you were previously watching the Heroes of the Storm tournament. It means a lot to us that you tuned into us, because the best match is starting now. I'm totally going to be watching. Right? Oh my god. It's alright, we'll talk about it later, but it's the only match tonight that I'm you're seeing the two winners play right now. I stand by that. Tempo Storm and Cloud9 are so much better than every other team in this tournament. Period.
It's really unfortunate because I want to be watching it, but we do this every Saturday. And so
That's right. That's right. So, that being said, that's right. That's why I wear my good shirt. That's why I got my nice webcam. Yeah. Anyway, so let's go ahead and get everything started. So we're going to start off right with the top 5 big news this week. The first one being is obviously the Heroes of the Storm and Hearthstone American Championship qualifiers, or qualifying championships, I don't know. It's for the World Tournament that's going on. Those have started as of today. They've been going on all day. I've been flipping back between both of them. As we said earlier, Heroes of the Storm is going on. We are super, we're both super into it. Kyle's rank 1, so you know he's into it. And considering the number of Arthas teams that have came out, I'm whoa. That being said, I don't know about you, Kyle. Did you see the game that had, it was Illidan, Abathur, oh fudge, who else was it? Illidan, Abathur, Nazeebo, I think it was Rexxar was on their team.
Well, it's the Illidan, Abathur, Rumbo combo.
Oh yeah, which I think it's funny just because Illidan was so pushed off the overall meta that he's there.
You're not going to see unless an Abathur is with him. That's the only time you're really going to see him.
Yep, and it's just really kind of cool that they were doing that. But there's been a lot of
funny is our friend Marissa told one of the first teams to pick Arthas, and then they did, and they started losing. In the beginning, the coach was like, "I hate you, Marissa. You cost us the game."
And then they won
because of Arthas.
That
did it.
What wasn't that Tempo, or was that Murloc's? Yeah, Tempo.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, because I would say, and it's funny too because I actually, all right. So full disclosure, I played Arthas for the second time today. Went to a normal match. Was like, ooh, I'm gonna do Arthas things because I needed to get Warrior out of the way. And I wrecked. Late game, I wrecked. I'm just yeah, take that, Illidan. Yeah, I'm going to copy Kyle's build. Sindragosa. Yeah, we're getting that tower.
Actually, that video's coming out soon. So
yep, no, I'm excited about that one.
All the hype, it's free advertising for the video.
That's right. Moving right along, we have the Tokyo Game Show that's going on this weekend. So, those of you who don't know, E3 is the Western equivalent of what the Tokyo Game Show is to Japan. And it is a huge deal. Huge. There are tons of games that are going on. If you are into RPGs at all, if you are into just any sort of Japanese-based gaming, this is where you should be, honestly. It's pretty crazy. I'm really excited about it. There's a lot of games I'm super hyped for. I know, Kyle, you're not really big into those, but...
Star Fox Zero.
Oh, yeah, no. A lot of games got delayed. That's just the next bit of news. A lot of games got delayed this week. Star Fox Zero is delayed to Q1 2016. Persona 5 got delayed. Kingdom Hearts 3 is delayed because of the new 2.9 that they just announced, which I'm okay, sure, whatever. I'm kind of confused about that, but they basically said that game's not coming out until after Final Fantasy 15, and 15 doesn't have a release date yet. So right now I'm man, this is going to be a really rough, a lot of games are dropping out of the 2015 race. We pretty much only have Battlefront, Fallout 4, and, oh shit, what was that? What was the other big one that's coming out?
Woolly World.
Woolly World doesn't count. It counts, but it doesn't count.
Man, I want to get Wild with some wool.
We both do. Especially, I got Toe Tracker today. I really want to get Wild with some wool because they're very, similar art style.
Was good.
Yes, it's because Nintendo is always good. I love Nintendo, and so Nintendo games are always good. Moving right along, we also have that Konami is officially leaving the gaming industry today, technically speaking. They are no longer making videos, or not videos, sorry, no longer making games for consoles and possibly PCs. This is a big deal because Konami has sort of been dropping hints about this, but they are officially done. Basically, It's not Metal Gear Solid 5. It's their last console game. It's actually Pro Elite Soccer 2016, which, by the way, PC edition apparently sucks balls. I am really upset about this. As somebody who is a big supporter of that, single tier goes out to them. But apparently they're dropping all console games but that series. So the series that just came out and is total shit, not going to drop. Metal Gear Solid 5, there you go. But yeah, no. So interesting stuff there. Oh, sorry about the volume there, Jacob. I dropped my volume down a bit there. Let me mark it down a little bit more. Ooh. But yeah, no. So Konami leaving's a big deal because obviously they've been around for a long time. Contra, they've had Metal Gear Solid, Castlevania. Sorry, no, I had to stop because I'm like, man, I don't even want to think about the games that we're losing because of this.
That's really.
But they're going into the mobile market, and there's a big reason why. If you look at the Tokyo Game Show, going back to that, I want to say it's like 2,000 games that are being shown off are mobile games or have a mobile-based version or something like iOS, Android, or of the like shown, which is a crazy huge number. Yeah, I mean, it kind of sucks that that's happening, but it is what it is, you know? Yeah. So we might talk about that some other time, but as of right now, like I said, Konami is done. No Silent Hill, no Contra, no Metal Gear Solid, no Castlevania. So if you get them, they're going to be like mobile ports, which, you're getting the same face I did. Thanks, guys. Moving right along, the final bit of news is that Nintendo unveiled the new forms of Zygarde. I totally butcher the names of some of these newer Pokemon, particularly like the legendaries. And he's got like 5 forms. Have you seen all 5 of them yet, Kyle?
Yeah, I'm not a fan. But
yeah.
I'm whatever.
Yeah, no, I'm like...
It's like Arceus 2.0, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like the idea of the like souped up like mega version, but then there's the pup version, the larva version, the regular version, the 50% version, 100%, and I'm like, guys, when you did it with Deoxys, it was okay. When you did it with Arceus, you were pushing it. Now you're making me like, guys, just make a new Pokemon. Give me another 100. Yeah. I will take like Toilet Bowl or like Toilette. He's like a small little like sink who evolves into a toilet bowl. Like I would take that and be okay with the Pokemon over this, but I'm like,
yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I'm kind of like, ugh. So, anywho, moving right along, we've got from there. We're going to go right into the comics to read this week. So we've got 5 comics that we always promote. These are the 5 ones that we feel that you guys should take a look at. The 5 that we have going on this week are Fight Club number 2. Fight Club, the comic, is a sequel directly to the original movie. If you're into the original movie, I was really hesitant about this. I don't know about you, Kyle, because I don't know how much you actually like Fight Club, the movie.
I'm a fan of it. I mean, it definitely is a cult classic for a lot of people. It's actually a really well done movie, ironically enough. Like, I've seen it a few times. And, I mean, once you already know about the ending, it's kind of like, whatever. But, it's as far as a book, though, I mean, the book's really good.
Oh, the book, I like the book's a little different, because you know me, I like books more than I do the actual movie. Like 9 times out of 10. In fact, the only time I didn't was Lord of the Rings, and you can kill me for this one, but Tolkien's writing style differs very
It's not for everyone.
Yeah, it changed a lot over The Hobbit to that, so big difference for me. That being said, Fight Club's comic I was really nervous about, but after number 1, I really was like, wow, okay, this is actually pretty cool. They're showing sort of the aftermath of what happened in Fight Club. It actually follows like a logical aftermath, which I thought was pretty interesting to do. I mean, outside that, it's a pretty like normal comic from there, but I mean, like I really enjoyed that. Fight Club 1 followed a good structure. I don't think this is a very long series. I think it's like a mini series, so it's not too much, and they're not like totally like ripping apart the original like motif of Fight Club. So really kind of okay with that.
Yeah, it's a faithful sequel.
Exactly.
Batman 66, number 27.
So I'm super excited about this one. So Batman 66 is, for those of you who don't know, is a comic based off of Batman from 1966, Adam West Batman. This one in particular is sort of a pseudo retelling of Bane's introduction, which is when Bane comes and breaks the bat. I just love everything about Batman 66. I love the art style to it. The art style is really good, honestly.
Yeah.
Like it
I'm not even a fan of Adam West Batman.
Oh, see, and I'm not either. Yeah, and the fact that they've gone on for this many issues without like a hitch.
No, the writing's really
good. It feels like an Adam West comic without being too goofy, but not being too serious either. It's 1966 Batman. It's really good, actually. And Bane looks really great in this. Like, I love the goofy, like, 1970s generic luchador mask that they gave him.
We never had Bane then because he was made in the 90s.
Right, and he was made because he was made for Nightfall, if I'm not mistaken.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah. So, like I said, I think this is a really cool idea. I love what they're doing with this, and I'm really like blown away by the fact they've managed to keep people coming back to this for over 20 issues. It's not common you get like a side story sort of thing, because Batman 66 does not take place anywhere in the New 52, anywhere with Convergence. It's really cool to actually get that sort of feel to it. Moving right along, we have Adventure Time number 44. I put this one on there not so much because of the specific content, but because we've never talked about the Adventure Time comics, which are surprisingly really robust. I've been really shocked by how good Adventure Time's comics have been. I mean, like, I'm obviously a fan of the show. I've watched the show quite a bit. I'm a pretty big fan of the show, but I'm shocked by just how popular this comic has been, and I'm shocked by how good the comic's been. It's not often that you get a comic that's based off of a kid's television show that lasts so long. Many people tend to forget that the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are a comic book first, and then they were a TV show.
Yep.
So
this is the reverse.
Yeah, so it's actually really cool to see that. I personally am really excited about all of that. Moving right along, we have Runaways number 4. This is the last part of the Secret Wars Runaway edition, so I'm super stoked for this. They're doing a lot of ending stuff here, so it's really nice that they're actually coming across to all of this, like they're actually getting to the ending of stories. And Runaways has been one that I've talked to. I mean, brought up, I think, Runaways number 1 before in one of our earlier casts. Runaways number 4 is just the same. It looks like it's really going to be really checking out a lot of cool stuff there. I am really, really stoked to see how it goes, how it looks. I think it's going to be really, really cool. Especially considering that there's a lot of talk about them killing off certain characters, which makes sense because they've kind of revealed the Runaways are going to appear in the all-new, all-different Marvel, which we're going to probably bring up not this time, but next time as like a whole segment, because I think it's like after that, it starts October with the new Iron Man comic, which, I mean, like they flipped a lot of things on their heads. We've talked about it in the past before, but it looks like it's going to be really big with this next one. I'm super, like I said, super duper stoked for it.
And that actually makes a lot of sense. Runaways, once again, is one of those comics that has just a cult following. Yeah,
and it's really good. Like I said, I think that it's one of the better comics that people just don't give enough credit for, just in general. And I mean, I think a lot more people should really consider reading it, considering how good it is.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah. And then the final one, and I'm putting this one on here kind of as like we talked about it last week with Green Lantern, and if you bring up Green Lantern, you have to bring up Sinestro because of how good Sinestro comics are doing right now.
Absolutely.
This one is following back with him as the Yellow Lantern again. He's rebuilding the core, so to speak. It's like the other side of the coin. A lot of people tend to look at Sinestro as a villain, and Sinestro is not only a villain. That's he's
the renegade cap.
Right, and I mean, it makes a lot of sense if you know anything about Sinestro's story. Sinestro is the kind of character who he was originally a Green Lantern, and he basically created the Yellow Lanterns because he felt that hope wasn't enough. He had to instill fear to win.
Not hope.
Or sorry, you're right.
Blue Lanterns.
Yeah. No, after they added all the different lanterns, I'm like, man, outside of red, yellow, and green, I'm confused. There's love, hope, death, life.
Yeah, it's willpower.
It's the rainbow, yeah. But high will isn't enough. You have to have fear in order to truly
instill actual power.
Right, and it works.
Because if they fear you, they respect you.
Right, I mean, it works. That's the thing. Sinestro.
I mean, dictators do it.
Yeah, and I mean, wait, I'm going to get a lot of shit when this gets misquoted. Hitler was a shitty person, but he was a good leader. Like, simple as that.
All right, I don't condone what was said. I'm out. Like,
he was a shitty person. Like, but
I am not in
yeah.
this.
But I mean, did Germany not become a world power in a short amount of time under his rule? Yes. Was he also a total fucking asshole? Yes. Like, there you go.
All right. Anyway.
Anyway, so moving right along, looking over everything. So PewDiePie is getting ready to start recording a television show. It's been sort of like bounced around that it's coming out. It was picked up by TMZ. Pewds himself has mentioned, hey, I'm not like recording a lot of videos right now. There's a lot of like stuff going on behind the scenes. I hope you still will follow me, but I've got a big thing about to happen. And as we all know, it's a TV show. This is a huge deal. And while I'm not a huge fan of PewDiePie, I'll be the first to say this. His content I don't necessarily care for. But him as an entertainer and as an actual YouTuber, like behind the scenes and all that, fucking amazing guy. Like,
yeah, he does a lot of work.
He works his ass off. Like, it's impressive how much work he puts in. He really deserves the #1 spot. But it's not just that. Game Theory did a video recently. I really urge you guys to check it out if you can. I hate like promoting YouTube channels that have never talked to me. But in all seriousness, they talked about how PewDiePie in particular has been marginalized by like mainstream media, and the fact that he's about to make a television show is a big deal because the media has done everything possible to try to like put YouTubers down, basically saying that they are not entertainment, they are not viable as celebrities, and they're just not viable as I would say, I don't want to say A-listers, but like they're not worth Hollywood's time.
Yeah, because Jimmy Kimmel, remember we were talking about
we talked about
went on there.
Yep, I was about to say, and Jimmy Kimmel had a 3-video thing, which is brought up in the content for My Game Theory. They brought it up that Jimmy Kimmel had 3 videos that were dedicated to making fun of YouTube gaming, which, as I said before, I thought was funny but really disrespectful. Like, not cool, Jimmy, but it was kind of funny. The second one was him responding to the angry tweets, and the third one I think was him also responding to them. Before a 4th video where Markiplier, and I'm sorry, girl, whose name I don't remember because I just don't remember you. They just didn't get. They just basically did a Let's Play with him, and he kind of got it, but it was still one of those like, I don't understand why people like this. It's the changing of the guard. I've said this a lot of times to my parents because my youngest brother is 17, and they asked him to name. I asked him to name 3 movie stars, and he did. I said, now name 3 TV stars, and he couldn't. I said, now name 3 YouTube stars, and he named like 20 on the spot.
Right.
And it was funny because my dad's like, who are those people? I'm like, oh, those are people all on YouTube. And he's like, really? I'm like, yes, YouTube is a big platform. It's super viable. I think that we're going to see a lot more stuff coming out of that. It's already been proving that millennials don't care about television as much. And that's not including the generation after us. Yeah, they really don't care about it.
You don't need TV.
Yeah, I have Netflix and Hulu. And with Hulu now announcing, a shameless plug for Hulu here, with Hulu announcing a option for no commercials, that's a huge deal. Like, I'm super stoked about Hulu not having commercials for like $11 a month. That's kick-ass. I think that a lot of people are going to find that while PewDiePie may be making a show for cable, I think it's going to be one of those things that goes on cable, goes on Hulu, and if it's as popular as they're hoping it will be, it's going to be huge. Like, it'll be a huge deal if it happens. Like, I'm really excited for it. Like I said, while I don't necessarily like PewDiePie, I'm not going to disrespect the fact that PewDiePie has made great strides for YouTubers. He's made great strides as a person, and he is just all around one of the reasons why people get into wanting to make content. Like, I would be lying if I said that PewDiePie's model doesn't work. It obviously does. And
it's like something about that Donkey. Remember, he's not doing League videos anymore. Did you see about that?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And thank you, Welk. You're right. You're right. It was May, Mrs. May, who was with Markiplier on Jimmy Kimmel. But yeah, no. Donkey not doing League videos is a big deal for the YouTube community. Like, it's a totally different story, but it kind of leads into our next topic anyway. But like YouTubers are becoming a sort of like third class celebrity thing. I would wager to bet that if you were to go to middle schools and elementary schools, that you would find that there are a lot more kids who know YouTubers than they do TV stars and possibly even movie stars.
Absolutely.
I mean, like, I stand by that movies are still where A-listers are at. Like, no offense, they are. But to say that YouTubers aren't B-list and possibly, like, A-list in some cases, I think it's bullshit. And I think that Pewdiepie making a TV show is really going to make a change for that. And I personally am super excited about that aspect. I think that if that actually happens, I'm going to flip. Like, really, like, for real. Like, if he gets high numbers, I'm going to be excited. So, moving right there.
It's already an platform that works. We already know that.
Yeah.
And with YouTube gaming coming out now, it's only going to get bigger. And honestly, like you said, Netflix and Hulu, we don't even pay for cable. Like, there's no reason to have it. You can stream whatever you need.
Yep.
Even if shows like you can pirate them and stuff, I'm not saying do that. I'm just saying I know people.
Well, but even then, I was going to say HBO Go is an option that is way better than paying for cable on top of HBO.
Absolutely. If you're there just for Game of Thrones.
Oh yeah, which as I've told many people, not an issue. I get HBO Go specifically during a certain time of year, and I watch Game of Thrones. That's all I watch on it. I'm hesitant about the new season, but
so with moving on a bit with the Heroes of the Storm American qualifiers going on, this brings up a topic.
Oh yes, I am super excited about this one because this is a big deal, to be honest. So MOBAs are becoming a huge deal. If you don't know what a MOBA is, I'm shocked. For one, because I'm just not used to people not knowing them, considering how many people play them now. But they are multiplayer online battle arenas. They are essentially the equivalent of sports in video games. That's the easiest way to explain it. It's becoming a phenomenon from not just a player standpoint, but a spectator standpoint. As we brought up earlier, between YouTube gaming and Twitch, esports, and we talked about this in the past, esports is big. Esports is here, and to not acknowledge it is stupid. MOBAs are the forefront of that. There are a few others that do get a lot of love from there. Things like CSGO's got a huge following. I don't necessarily like CSGO very much, but that being said, I'm not going to deny that they've had so many viewers for it. Capcom has totally invested time, money, and effort into the Capcom Cup and the fighting game community. But MOBAs are still the big one. If you've ever been to Twitch, you look at the front page, League of Legends is right smack on the front. You can't miss it. And then like followed shortly after that is usually one or two, Dota. And then like a few farther down, Smite and Heroes of the Storm, which are going to be the four we're talking about. So these four are the big MOBAs going on right now. They are the ones that everybody is talking about and everybody's playing. So we're going to talk a little bit about the four, their scenes, that they like their esports scenes, as well as in general their overall their overall like motif. IGN did an article on it recently, but they were pretty cut and dry about it, and they really, I think, felt like missed a lot of points. So we'll start off with the big one, Heroes of the Storm. Nah, JK. We're going to start off with League. League of Legends is the biggest currently with, it's last time I checked, it was an average of, and Kyle, you may correct me on this one, 20 million players a month, like every single month.
Yep.
Yeah, it's something ridiculous like that. It might be more than 20 at this point. But there is a ridiculously large number of people watching this every single day, playing it every single day. The streamers are the biggest. The YouTube videos are some of the biggest. Pretty much outside of like the big YouTubers, which I would say are like Game Grumps, PewDiePie, Markiplier, JonTron, Angry Video Game Nerd, and a few others. If you don't do YouTube videos or that are based around League, it's kind of shocking. So I mean, League of Legends is huge. It's a legitimate phenomenon on how fast it grew because it's grown faster than World of Warcraft has. Like World of Warcraft used to be the big multiplayer online game. League has now surpassed that. For those of you who don't play League, I do recommend it as it is a very, very good game. I would say if you're gonna play League in comparison to any of the other three we bring up today, find friends who play it and play with them first.
Don't play solo.
Don't play solo early on. And the reason why is that League, unlike the other four, the other three we're going to talk about, is huge. League has a ton of people playing every single day. And some of these people are assholes, like for real.
Majority of them.
Well, all right, I would say it's probably about 40%. But still, that means that out of every game you play, you're probably going to get 1 to 2 assholes. Their game is so big and has issues of this problem, like of this magnitude, that they have psychologists hired to work to help curb this problem. That being said, it is a really good game when you get your friends. There's a reason why so many people play it. It's a little bit more constricted compared to the other 3 because there's basically these players. These are the top tier players. They play these roles. You like this champion, he's going to play this role, or she's going to play that role. They don't really have a lot of branching paths for where you play and what you do. If you
even the new people, so they're watching LoL esports, they want to play like the pros, so you have to do this setup, this setup.
I would say,
and it's really, really hard for new players, like people who are just trying to get in, because they will like shove it down your throat, like, oh, you piece of shit, like, not knowing this, not doing this. And honestly, for a person who's new to a game, that isn't fair, and
it's super constricting. Combine that with that, and I'll say this as a personal bit of advice: turn off all chat as soon as possible. Like, do not put all chat on. Do not allow yourself to all chat. Do not allow the other team to all chat. That is just asking for problems. But League of Legends, though, it is a really good game. There is a reason why so many people play it, and I honestly will say, even over some of the easier ones, like Heroes, and to a lesser extent Smite, I would recommend it as a starting one, simply because it gives you the idea of how MOBAs are meant to be played. I will say that you'll need to relearn a lot of things. It's like going from a bike to a unicycle when going to the other ones. The concept is still there, but it's a little different. But the basics for everything will come back to League, honestly.
Honestly, if you get good at League, if you play any of these other MOBAs, it's going to help you because you have a background in it.
And it'll translate easier.
Same to go vice versa. I mean, if you have any sort of MOBA skill, it will come into place with whatever MOBA you play.
Yep.
I'm not lying, like, when I say, because I played, 4 years now of League?
Oh, goodness. You've played 4, I played 5. Like, I've been playing
since Season 1, you've been playing since Beta.
Yeah, I've been playing since the early stages of closed beta.
Yeah, and I've been playing since Season 1, and that's helped me with Heroes of the Storm. Like, I'm rank 1 because, like, that skill and, like, moving on to this, like, it has a similar thing, but it's more team objective based, and I enjoy that. And so, like, that skill has helped carry over to this. So people who are just now starting from Heroes of the Storm, they don't have that background of skill already. And so it's not, I mean, they learn, but, like, just start with a MOBA, and that will help you with all the other ones we're going to talk about. Yep.
Now, moving right along, we're going to go from League to Dota. Now, one of these days I'm going to do like a whole history of MOBAs, because it's very interesting, because there's a lot of like, where did they come from?
Dota's the daddy.
Yeah, Dota is like the granddaddy of them all. Well, it's the daddy. There's one before Dota, but no one talks about it because it's not really Dota. Now, Dota 2 is the direct sequel to the original Dota. Basically, they took what was a Warcraft 3 mod and made it into a standalone game.
Yeah.
Dota 2 and League are very similar. Like, when you look at Smite and Heroes, they look different, and there's a reason for that. League and Dota, I would say they worked very differently from it. But that being said, Dota 2 is very similar to League. It looks exactly the same, and then you play it, and it's the exact opposite game. Like, very different game. Dota 2 requires much more micromanagement. So all the same things that you have in League exist in Dota, but on a totally different scale. The map is twice as big and twice as confusing. There are tons of items. Like, in League, you buy items to power up your character. In Dota, you buy those items, but there are like 100 different items, and every item like builds out of like almost every other item. It's pretty crazy when you see the cap difference between them.
The building paths.
That's the other thing, is that what you actually build as your character matters so much more in Dota 2 in comparison to League of Legends. In League of Legends, it's more your item build and your character. In Dota 2, it's about what you built, what moves you're getting, what your team comp is, what lane you went to. There's a lot more micromanagement. That being said, Dota 2 is very unforgiving. It's probably the most challenging and probably the toughest to get into, but it is probably the most rewarding, I would say. Because it's so difficult, pulling off big plays feels good. It feels big. I urge,
Also,
yeah.
The Dota players that I know who are actually like really into it, yeah, like it's really impressive when you see what they can do. Because honestly, I am horrible at Dota. I've played like 25 to 30 games.
I played, yeah, I played like 300. I'm a little bit more experienced at Dota. So, but you're right. No, it's like you pay about 20 games, you're like, what am I? I don't even know what I'm doing now.
Because I started on League, so going to this. I mean, I wish I had started on Dota and then played League.
Yeah, and it's one of the things where Dota's community is also a lot nicer, because they get early on that there's a guide that's very famous on Dota called "Welcome to Dota 2, You Suck," and it's literally a guide saying, "Look, you've just started Dota 2, or you have issues playing Dota 2. You're reading this guide because you suck." And they're trying to say that's not a problem. It's just a fact. You have to accept it. And once you do, you can start getting better. That sounds like a really toxic community, but they're trying to make a joke about the fact that, like, we understand you're not going to be awesome right out the gate. We're not mad at you for not being awesome out the gate.
Right.
And like we were saying earlier, there are some huge plays. In League, big plays happen very rarely. I can name like 2 off the top of my head. In Dota, there's one that is very clearly the biggest play I've ever seen in a MOBA, which was this year's World Championships. If you look up the second game, it's either the second or third game. It's called the $1 million Shockwave. It's basically such a big play that you watch it. The team that pulls it off is losing. The other team is going for a big objective, and they basically insta-kill all of them in one shot. Like, it's just boom, they're all dead. And it's crazy. Like, the audience is into it. The players are into it. The game is into it. It's huge. Also, Dota 2's presentation is far better than League. I think League should take a lot of pointers from it. Like, the announcers would be really cool to put into League. The skins are a lot more in depth in Dota. A lot more expensive, but a lot more in depth.
Surprisingly.
And I mean, there's a lot of things that. Like I said, I like Dota's overall system. It's very Valve-y. If you like Valve games, you'll totally get into Dota, honestly. It feels a lot like
alone.
Yeah, it feels a lot like CSGO and a lot like Team Fortress 2 from its outside of game presentation. But yeah, Dota 2 I would say would be the last one to try on the list, but it's really fun. I do like it, but it's hard. Like, it is hard. The third one we're going to talk about is Smite. Smite is very different from the other 3 on this list, whereas Heroes and Heroes, Dota, and League all have sort of a top-down view. Smite takes it as a third person. So in Smite, you're going to be playing behind your character. It's like a behind-the-character camera.
That's pretty cool, actually.
And it actually is very interesting to watch. I will say that playing the game it becomes a clusterfuck when you team fight as a group, when your whole team gets together and fights each other. It gets really crazy what's going on, but all the characters are instantly recognizable because they're all gods from different mythologies. So if you're a history buff, Smite already has that going for you.
It's actually really cool.
Yeah, I mean, and they all feel like the gods they should be. Even Thor being like some weird assassin feels normal because Thor feels like how Thor should. He swings his hammer, he comes out, and he beats the shit out of you.
Yeah.
Like, it's actually...
You expect him to be a little tankier, but you can't do that with everyone and stuff like that. But
yeah.
They still got his move, like his kick down.
Yeah, he feels like Thor.
That's who I play the most, so...
Oh, really? I was about to say, I actually play Artemis the most, so...
okay, yeah, she's good.
Yeah, I got literally... Yeesh. I played almost like all my games on Artemis, basically. Oh goodness, with Artemis, I've got whatever the highest level skin you can get with her is.
The gold and black. I have that.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah, I've got that one, and I play Apollo as my other character, which makes sense.
Apollo's cool.
Yeah. Bang bang bang.
Yeah.
But yeah, now
arena mode.
Oh yeah.
Really fun for new people.
All the different modes of Smite. All the different modes.
Yeah, Joust is really fun. The 3v3 map. Conquest is the 5v5, which is the most difficult and hardest map.
Yep.
Arena's really good for casual people and for just people who are new because you get to learn the controls. You're in like an enclosed area. You're fighting. Like it's just really good. Like that's just a really good mode. And
yeah.
Mike is really nice. Like I have seldom met a mean person in that game.
Yeah, I've met a few, but not a lot. Hey Kevin, how you doing? But one of the things that I think is really interesting about Smite is that it's also going to the Xbox, which that's a big deal. A lot of people don't realize that becoming a multi-platform, like, what should we call it? Piece of software, game. Oh, God, I'm retarded. Is a big deal. It's the reason why EA exists, if we're being real. Outside of the obvious, like, they've got sports stuff and all that, they release games on every system ever. They're going to make a profit somewhere. It's a big deal for Smite to do this because it's the only MOBA that's doing that. Oh, we're talking about MOBAs right now, Kevin. The bunches that we're going over. We're going to have a re-recording of this both on Twitch and on YouTube later in the evening, so
you can catch up on whatever you missed.
Gotcha.
But,
yeah.
About Smite, it's on Xbox One now, so you
Yep.
can just download it straight from there, which makes it technically the most accessible MOBA out of the list because you can get it on your console.
Yeah, and I mean, and it's free to play. Like, all these are free to play, so we do encourage you, if you want, download all of them. But yeah, I would say Smite, if you're not sure you're really interested in MOBAs, if you're not sure that, like, the concept of them kind of freaks you out, or if you're like, for instance, my friend Joe is not into PC gaming, really. He's got, like, a gaming PC, but not into PC gaming.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, right. I'm like, spends $900 on computers, doesn't like PC gaming.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. But that being said, I think it's really interesting that Smite does this because it allows for a whole new group of people to play. I will say that Smite I am hesitant about. I've said this many times in the past. I mentioned it on Twitter recently, of the Steam curse, where when a MOBA gets to Steam, that's its death note.
Yeah, Infinite Crisis.
Oh, Infinite Crisis, Rise of Immortals. Like, I could go down the list, Kyle. I could go down the list. Dawngate did not go there.
You love Dawngate, didn't
you? We'll go to dead MOBAs afterwards and upcoming MOBAs at the very end of this. We won't talk about Dawngate, though. Dawngate brings...
anyways,
yeah.
So, final notes on Smite. Check it out. That is the first one to play if you're unsure about it. In my opinion, the arena mode, and then just like play the game. I mean, they give you a few champs for free right from the get-go. Thor is one of them. That's who I play the most.
And for $30 you get everybody. Period.
For $30 you get every god and every god to be released future. That's a really good deal. If that's the MOBA you want to play, that's super good.
Yeah. No, I
think you're in like 60 to 70 some gods right now.
It's somewhere in that range. It's pretty high right now.
Yeah. So look into that one. And so the fourth one we'll talk about is my personal favorite.
Yeah. And I'll be honest, it's probably my favorite right now too.
Whoa, what?
Yeah. There's one I like a little more, but we'll talk about that in a second. And it's not in the same thing. I mean, Kevin, we might. We haven't bothered to because, admittedly, we haven't had anybody ask.
So we're not really one to just like.
We'd want to give you something in return if you did that. Yeah. So
when we get shirts, though.
Oh my gosh, yes. We'll talk about that because I'm in the works of talking about that. We'll get to that at the end. That's something we'll talk about at the end. Yeah. So the last one is Heroes of the Storm. Now, Kyle, as most of our viewers probably know by now, you are rank 1. That is the highest. That's the highest. Yeah. That's the highest rank you can get in Heroes of the Storm. So, Kyle, pretty knowledgeable about the game. Heroes of the Storm is
Heroes
of the Storm is very different from the other 4. It plays very similar to League and Dota, but unlike the other 2, this one is much more focused on team. Whereas the other one praises individual skill within a team, Heroes of the Storm is all about team. You level up as a team. You earn your moveset as a team. You play the game as a team. And I know it sounds kind of dumb considering these are all team-based games, but it is heavily emphasized in this game.
If you play as a team, you will win.
Yeah, period.
That is the way to say it. Like, because the thing I love about Heroes, above other ones, is sorry. The thing I love about Heroes is like you walk into a lane and then you soak it. That's the term you use in Heroes, is you soak lane. So that means just the person being in a lane is giving experience for your team. Yep. I love that concept.
Yeah,
you are doing something, so you're helping the team.
Yep, even if you're, as terrible as this may sound, even if your whole team goes to do something else and they all die, if you were in lane fighting little minions to gain experience so you could be stronger later in the game, that affects your whole team. I have actually seen a game where we had 4 people go in for an objective, totally flub it up. We all died, the enemy team got the objective, and we came out ahead because for some reason, our 5th person sat there bashing away at everything up in the exact opposite quadrant of the map. That is not something that happens in League or Dota. When that person is on the other side of the map, when the other 9 players are doing something, he better be getting something out of it. Like, if you're not like taking down another big objective, it doesn't matter. You being there is useless. In Heroes, just existing somewhere can be useful. Like, plain and simple. And Kyle's right. I think that is probably the biggest strength to it. I would also say Heroes is the easiest to get into. The community for the most part is pretty chill. I've met like two assholes, and only one of them was actually like a jerk, like a total like, I don't ever want to see you play this game again with anybody. You are that big of a jerk.
Yeah. Once I got up in the higher ranks, I really met some like mean people, but that was the only time I've ever met anyone mean. So it was really like off-putting, but it was just kind of like, I mean, these are people here for competitive play. Like, this is important to them.
Yeah.
You know, this is their MMR. They're trying to get up to show themselves, And I understand you're under pressure and it gets frustrating. I mean, yesterday I lost 10 games and only won 1.
Yep.
That was the first time I've ever done that in that game. I mean, it hurt. Like, I was upset. I was bothered for the rest of the night. I was like, wow, I'm bad. And not only that, I went on tilt, and so that's just, don't do that. Once you lose 3 games, take a break. Like,
yeah, it's the rule of 3. Yeah, so for those of you who don't know, because tilting is one of those phrases that gets like passed around, it's basically the moment that you are like, wow, I am going to win this next game. I'm going to win this next game, and you lose it horribly. You get wrecked. Either you did bad, the team did bad, something happened. And then you go, you know what? I'm going to bounce right back and do another one. And the same thing happens. You should probably consider after the second one doing the third one. If you do the third one and the same thing happens, stop. You're done. Don't play for the rest of the night. Switch games. Have fun with something else.
Or switch to quick match. Just switch
switch to something that's not so serious. If you're in Smite, if you've been doing Conquest mode, switch to Arena. If you're in League, switch to Team Builder.
Just switch to a different game.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's one of those things where I actually, whenever I go on tilt in any MOBA, I actually will play anything on the 3DS, or I will go and I will pop out my Wii U, which pop out some Mario Maker. Love that game. I'm gonna be streaming tomorrow night.
Get some food, take a break, get a drink, something like that.
Go for a jog.
Yeah, no, seriously, just find some time to blow up, because you're not going to realize that your gameplay is affected. Your playstyle is actually affected. Like, I actually started getting frustrated by like the 5th game that I was actually playing more poorly and making stupider decisions that I normally wouldn't make.
Yep.
Because I was getting frustrated. And that's just something you have to recognize, and every player has to go through it. And if you want to get serious about it, that's just something you're going to have to do. You're going to have to take a step back, and you're going to doubt yourself. And it's going to hurt. You're going to be like, am I bad? Did I lose because of me? Because I'm losing every game. Is it my fault? Like, it's not just bad, but then you'll realize, no.
No, sometimes that's how it goes.
And sometimes it is you, and sometimes you just have to get better, and you have to practice. And that's okay. That's the games you should lose. Those are games that you should watch and learn from. And Heroes of the Storm has a great watch system. You can watch all your replays that you have done.
I like the replays, but I don't like... There's a lot of things about the replay system I'm like, But it actually has a replay system, unlike League, unlike Smite, and I think Dota just recently added a replay system. But Heroes is really good. Like, Heroes is the best one, IMO. So anyway, those are the 4 big ones. I'm going to give a shout out to the other 2 that are up and coming. One of them's called Arena of Fate. I'm not allowed to talk a lot about it because it's in alpha currently. Very interesting game. I'll reveal this much about it. The characters are all based off of, instead of like gods like Smite, they're all based off of mythological people such as Tesla, Red Riding Hood, Musashi, Miyamoto Musashi.
Crap.
Yeah, I play him. He's really good. Because he's got the dual swords. Yeah. Anyway, but cool. I also play Sherlock Holmes in the game, so I would. Anyway, but the game is interesting because unlike the every other MOBA, you can win the games last 25 minutes only. Period. On the 25th minute, the game stops and it determines how many points your team has earned. So you get 1 point for every tower, 1 point for every. There's like a big, like giant monster you could fight for every one you kill, like as a team, and you get 1 point for every 7 kills your team acquires. And so whoever has the most points at the end of the game wins. So you, in theory, could win the game without ever fighting, really. It's actually a very interesting way of playing. I really like it. The other one is Vainglory. If you want to play something on a mobile platform, there's really only one MOBA that's worth playing. There's like a couple that are out now. Heroes of Order and Chaos is one of them. But Vainglory is amazing. I'm actually going to go out and buy a tablet next week just so I can play it better on this tablet. That and Hearthstone. Like, if we're being real, Hearthstone's the other reason, but it's a 50-50. Like, Vainglory is really, really good. I've put a lot of time into that game. I plan on streaming Vainglory once I get that tablet. I'm getting like all the plugins and stuff for it. So, but that game is a huge deal because mobile platforms are big. We as gamers, we don't necessarily want to admit how big they're getting, but you have to accept the fact that they are a viable platform for games
and
now.
honestly, what makes Hearthstone so good is anyone can play. Like, it's the perfect casual card game. Like, if you're really professional and you're really good, then that's cool too. But if you're casual and amateur, they have people like that too playing. And I just love it. I think it's great.
It's a card game, like simple as that.
It's the portability. That's really what it is.
I mean, like
I just play it on my phone.
Yeah, I would say I play it when I'm at work. I actually will go outside, sit in my hammock in the beautiful Florida sunshine, pull up my phone and play Hearthstone while I'm outside.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Yeah.
I love it.
So, that being said, we're getting into our free space here. So, if y'all have any questions, feel free to ask. We do know there's a 30-second delay. So, that being said, we usually also give a little shout out to a few things like our Twitter. I am at munch__J. Kyle is at Bushido Viking.
I'm actually using Twitter a lot now, so I'll answer your stuff.
That's right, yeah. In the past, Kyle didn't like Twitter, but he loves it now.
I actually really enjoy it.
Yeah, well, I like it because it's just really simple. But we're both on Twitter. We have our Facebook as well. There's also our YouTube, which is Geeks For Hire. Simple as that.
YouTube's big. Check it out.
Yeah, I was about to say
we make a lot of creative content. Honestly, this week's episode of Forgotten Fighters, I really enjoyed.
Yeah, on Clayfighters. Yeah, I did a whole segment on Clayfighters.
It's a whole new series, and it's like this documentary type style, and I actually really enjoyed it. Like, I actually like the video a lot. Yeah.
Thank you. I'm also going to be doing a hype video for Mario Maker. I'm going to be taking the best levels I've been challenged to live on stream and do like a compilation of them.
Maker. We both stream, actually. It's another thing to mention.
Yep, I was say I stream at munch_J, which if you're following, you may have been linked over here. I'm pointing at you, Welk. But Kyle, you stream at Bushido Viking, correct? It's still Bushido Viking.
Yep.
Kyle streams a lot of heroes. He's like I said, he's rank 1. So if you want to learn a lot of heroes, watch him. He's a pretty good guy.
I also stream Smite, League of Legends, whatever else I'm playing. Mm-hmm. So the MOBAs we were talking about, I play that. So yeah, honestly, ask questions. I'll tell you why I do what I do. You want to learn, I will teach you.
Yep.
It was just yesterday. I was explaining why I went and did an objective, and then while my team was at an objective, I was pushing a lane. And they were like, well, why aren't you helping your team with the objective? And I said, well, actually, I'm forcing them away from the objective because I'm pushing the top lane. So either I'm going to force people to come to stop me, and which will make it an easier time for my team to get the objective, or they'll get the objective and we're going to get so much XP from this, it won't matter.
Yep. No, like I said, it's one of those things where...
Wow, thanks for helping me with that. And I was just like, yeah.
Yeah, no, like I said, it's one of the things where it's really interesting to see that sort of stuff. So, that being said, looks like we don't have any questions. That's fine. It happens. We're going to move into our last little segment. This is the end of the night sort of thing. So we like to end it where we give ourselves each 2 minutes of free time, as is tradition. Kyle goes first. Unless, Kyle, you have a complaint about this?
No, I'm going to let you go first this time.
Oh, yeah. So I'm going to go first. So without further ado. So I want to give 3 shout-outs really quick. One of them is to, in general, Kyle hitting rank 1 and doing videos as the main editor for a lot of our videos. Kyle puts a lot of effort into picking and choosing the matches he does, the play styles that he does. He really does have a lot of things to say about it, and it's really cool to see where he's going with that. And I really, I love you, Welk. You're actually who I'm going to shout out next because Welk actually. Well, let me finish with Kyle though. My ADD's kicking in. But Kyle puts a lot of effort into his videos, and there's a lot of thought into his builds. He doesn't give you just one idea; he gives you multiple choices. It's really cool to see. Second shout out is to Welk. Welk has some sick levels in Mario Maker. I'm still working on beating his second Pikmin level. For people that play Mario Maker a lot, there's a lot of people who make levels just for the sake of making them hard. They don't give them any rhyme or reason, and they're not fun hard. They're like fuck you hard. Pardon my language, but they are. Welk does some really sick levels, and he's going to be in my promo thing. So look for I forget which name it is. It's a Pikmin lover or Pikmin guy, something like that, or a blue Pikmin. That's what it was. His level is going to be in the video. The third one I want to give a shout out to is Markiplier. Markiplier is going through a lot of stuff right now. I don't know Markiplier personally, but I understand a lot of struggles that a lot of people have gone through. Gone through a lot of stuff myself, but apparently he stopped making videos. So a lot, love goes out to him. I hope everything works out for him because he's a big name. As YouTubers, we should all, sort of like look out for each other. I'm also going to give a tiny little shout out to Donkey because I really respect him for everything he said about League of Legends and how he is leaving that. I think that's a big deal, and I think that in general, the fact that he has the ability to continue making content is in and of itself super impressive. So, that being said, Kyle, if you are ready.
All right, yeah. I'm really touched by that. That means a lot. I do try to put a lot of work into this, and this MOBA to me is so young and so new, but it has such an amazing fan base already. It has such an amazing community, and I'm really happy to be part of the community because it's so new. And so I've already been talking to people, and I just I do this and that, and I was one of the first people that said use specialist Rexar, even though he's a warrior, and people are like, yeah, that's a great idea. And stuff
they did it in the tournament. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I know. And once again, oh my god. All right, so I'm so hyped. All right, and I can't wait for BlizzCon to see the Worlds. And,
oh god, yeah, I'm getting a virtual ticket. I can't go to BlizzCon because of work, but I'm getting a virtual ticket.
If all goes well, I'm going to be going to BlizzCon next year.
Yes,
for sure.
No, same here. I actually plan on ordering.
So the Geeks For Hire will be there. That's the plan.
We'll have shirts by then.
I'm really excited, and I hope. And Blizzard shared my.
Your tweet. That's right. I was hyped about that.
Yeah, Blizzard actually was like, "Good luck on your stream. Good luck and have fun." And that's what I'm talking about. The fact that company looked out for me and gave. They didn't have to do that.
Yeah.
At all. And they did that, and that made my day. My day was better. I was like, oh my gosh, someone's taking the time to notice me and recognize me. And
Senpai noticed you.
But yeah, I'm gonna be doing. If you're interested at all, I'm going to be continuing builds for champions, and I'm gonna go a little more in depth with them. Comment on the YouTube videos, and I'll be happy to answer questions. I had a guy ask the rector, who do you suggest I should play? I'm new to Heroes of the Storm. And I said, well, give me a playstyle. I will go in depth with you and analyze who I think you should play. I have fun doing this, and I have fun talking about it. Hit me up on Twitter, and I'll be very happy. My shout-out will go to Marissa, who is at Vegas right now.
I hate her for it, but I love her for it.
The thing she says to me is just so sweet. She actually really believes in Geeks For Hire. She thinks we're great entertainers. She thinks we're great content creators, and that means a lot. I feel like a lot of the time we don't get recognition because we're new. Yeah. But we work hard, and for someone just to appreciate that, for someone just to appreciate our videos or give it a like, or just say, hey, I really enjoyed that. Like Kevin came in here earlier and was just like, oh wow, you guys are cool. You should have a donate button to donate. Yeah. No, wow.
That goes a long way to us. Like we said, we haven't had anybody ask about that.
Yeah, I feel like we're making strides every week, every day, every video, and I just want to say thank you all for that. And thank you to Josh, who does all the editing, and he works really hard too. Geeks For Hire, literally, we are the two halves. Without the other one, Geeks For Hire would not be what it is, and I can't wait to see Geeks For Hire continue to grow. So thank you all for that. That's my 2 minutes.
Geek power. I was like, that was 3 minutes, but no. So anyway, thanks you all for watching. Like I said, we're gonna probably. I know Kyle's got stuff to do. I'm probably gonna go right back to the Heroes tournament. I'll be tweeting live
I should be streaming later tonight too. So.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I plan on streaming. Tomorrow, so. I actually have a schedule finally built up around work, editing, and streaming. So I'll actually have a schedule set up tomorrow. So for people who want to watch me, I actually will have that up. super stoked. Outside of that, I am Josh. My co-host is Kyle.
And I'm Kyle, so thanks for joining this week.
Hey, thank you all. Y'all take it easy. Peace.